Okay, hello dear friends. So this is a very, very colorful watercolor painting. I didn't think about it so colorful, rainbow color, but comes out like this. And let's learn to paint it. And you can see the process. So first you put a lot of paper, wet the paper with water. I have a tendency of inundate my paper with water, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's just too much water. But do not worry, if you have too much water, you can always clean it up with tissue paper, with brush, with a drier brush. So do not worry. When you have less paper, the the color will get into the paper. When you have less water, the color will get into the paper. You cannot change very easily. And when you have a lot of paper, the paints actually paints on top of the paper, on the water background, on the water, so it flows. You can easily move it around. You can always change it. So I put just a random color. I didn't sort about what color I use, and it just came out as a rainbow, blue sky and darker color on the bottom, and or hotter color on the bottom. So the color from cold to hot, and then I start to put some purple color, one layer purple color as leaves, some of the old leaves and turning color leaves, and then green color as another layer of leaves. And the green is not pure green with a little bit of blue, so it's kind of turquoise. I do not know why I put the orange and pink, maybe a kind of mountain, maybe a kind of layer of grass. I still not yet figuring it out. This is one of my painting style. I usually do not have a plan. I do have a plan. I watch from Pinterest, from internet, get some beautiful pictures. But as I paint, that idea get lost, and I could not follow exactly what I have seen as inspiration, because once you started to paint, your own idea, um, your own spiritual calling will dictate where you are going to. So I started just like that. The green, at the beginning, I was thinking of green trees, but for some reason I changed idea and become grass. So I use a very thin brush to do some grass. But because this paper is wet, is very wet, so the grass, each stroke does not come out. But do not worry, it's not always very sharp. Every effort you have made will not be wasted. Any of your effort, every of your effort will count. Eventually it will show up. So I just kept on put green grass on every layer of my color, on the layer of pink, on top of the layer of pink, on top of the layer of orange, on top of the layer of everything. So at the beginning I put a layer there, and with the color is actually very interesting, because the color merges, the color expands, it makes that fluffy feeling. And I put some red dots as if it's a flower or little fruits or little cherry berry. But because because there is still water and the paper is still wet, so it's it's a cluster of red, or it's just red color everywhere. But do not give up and dry your brush. Keep on doing the little strokes. There is never an end. And as your brush, as the paper getting drier and drier, you can add in more details. One thing is to wait until paper dry. And this painting took me around 30 minutes something. I'm pretty slow in doing this kind of work, in doing any painting. So the water is drying up, and you can get the grass layer more and more defined. Just eventually it becomes more defined, and still it's not very defined. It's just a mess of all these colors. And then I fell asleep, and I felt it's just oh, not yet. This is not yet falling asleep. That's before I fall asleep. And then I start to add some red color, add some dots, and this actually red dots, and later on I have added some white dots, some yellow dots, and it didn't show up, as you can see. The original painting of this original footage of this painting I have already uploaded. So if you are interested, you can see the original, but I didn't talk. It's in the middle of the night. I just want to enjoy myself and not talk anything. And it took me forever and ever and ever, just cannot seem to make it right. I add more branches, I add more leaves, I add more this and that with a different texture of brush, with a different density of color. It's just a whole blot of everything. It's kind of disappointing. And then I went to sleep. The second morning I woke up, I add the very last layer of green grass, and because it's totally dried up, so now you can see the grass is more defined, and the color becomes more prominent. So never give up. Just try and just see how it can go out, how you can work with it. Do not worry too much about a perfect work at the beginning, because it's all in the process. Enjoy. I love you. I really do.